Hello, beautiful people. We're back. It's Thursday. That means it's INDYCARPER Day. We got Post Road America recap. Once again, just a reminder, I am your main man, Hunter, A.K.A. Case Race. Welcome into INDYCARPER. We got a lot of stuff to recap from this past weekend with both the Indy Next Road America and INDYCAR Road America. Got our drivers of the day. And we had a TV deal get announced this morning. We're going to talk about a little bit about that. But first off, let's just go ahead and talk about the Indy Next race. Race results: Jamie Chadwick leads from start to finish, gets her first career win. Then the two guys in the points battle, Louis Foster, Jacob Abel, finishes second and third. Reese Golden fourth. Cal Collette takes over the third place spot after a fifth place finish because Nolan Siegel didn't end up running. We'll talk about that later. Callum Hedge sixth. Josh Peterson, Ed Carpenter Racing development driver in seventh. Bryce Aaron eighth. Eighth and ninth, both guys needed a good run with Bryce Aaron and Ewan Sundrum-Worthy. I'll talk about Ewan here in a minute. Round out the top 10 got Nolan Elliott. First time he wasn't in the top 10 this weekend. Michael D'Orlando finishes 11th. Kiko Porto driving for Nolan Siegel into 39. He finishes 12th. Neil School in 13th. Christian Bogle in 14th. J. Dub Miller rounds out the top 15. Lindsey Berg completes all the laps. Finishes in 16th. Jonathan Brown in 17th. James Rowe Jr. or James Rowe in 18th. Miles Rowe, not a great race for him in 19th. Jordan Missing rounds out the top 20, and then Salvador de Alba has a mechanical failure. Finishes 21st. That rounds out our race results standings. Let's go ahead and look at the points. Jacob Abel still solidly first place in the point standings. Louis Foster still solidly second. Nolan Siegel misses a race, so he's fourth in the point standings. Cal Collette takes over third place. Reese Gold solidly top five. Him and Callum Hedge tied for the fifth position. Miles Rowe 5 points back to the fifth position. We'll talk about him. Miles Rowe gets solidly seventh in points. Michael D'Orlando still in eighth. Hopefully we'll see him back at Laguna Seca. It's all about sponsorship. He's racing. He's doing race by race. Jamie Chadwick after a win. She's solidly in ninth place now. Jonathan Brown still solidly in the 10th place position in the point standings. That rounds out your Indy Next top 10 in the point standings. Let's go ahead and give our driver of the day. Just a reminder, what I do for Casey Racing's driver of the day is essentially who surprised me and who had a great run after a bad few weeks. And this weekend, we give it to the Wisconsin's own Ewan Sundrum-Worthy. Started 11th, finishes 9th. He gets a well-deserved top 10 after some bad wrecks in the past few weeks. He needed this top 10. Glad he got it. So, big old clap of the hands to Ewan. And let's talk about this. The Indy Next race up. We got a doubleheader coming up here in a couple weeks with the Indy Next Series by Firestone. Grand Prix of Monterey doubleheader, June 22nd through 5 p.m. Eastern. And June 23rd, that's Saturday and Sunday, June 23rd, 3:55 p.m. Eastern. Both races exclusively streaming on Peacock, but after this year, not so much. Just a reminder, watch the race. Got a doubleheader this weekend. See if Jacob Abel can't build on a points lead or if Louis Foster will end up catching him. Well, let's transition now to Indy Next. We're going over to IndyCar. The actual IndyCar series. Let's look at that. Willpower, as Pat McAfee says, Willpower gets his first win in just over 2 years. Last one was at the 2022 at Belle Isle. Pulls off some great pit strategy. Wins at Road America. It's all Penske top three with Joseph Newgarden second and Scott Dixon the third, but both represent the car numbers respectively. Alex Blow fourth place in the race. Kyle Kirkwood rounds out the top five in his Andretti teammate Colton Herta. He was doing a completely alternate pit strategy. He comes home sixth. Romain Grosjean in the 77 comes home in seventh for Juncos Hollinger. Pato Ward in eighth in the 5. Marcus Ericsson, another great run for him with Andretti. All the Andretti cars come home top 10, so shout out to them. Marcus Ericsson trying to build on the season after the Indy 500. He said the season starts now, and we'll just have to see what that is. Graham Rahal, Talk about him later. Started 24th back in the field, highest mover of the race. Comes home, rounds out the top 10. Christian Lundgaard in 11th. Linus Lundqvist had the lap 1 spin with Marcus Armstrong after winning the pole. Rebounds, finishes 12th. Theo Porcher, still in his full-time season in the 6th. Comes home in 13th. Felix Rosenqvist, 14th in the number 60. Santino Ferrucci in 15th in the number 14. Pietro Fittipaldi in 16th. Stingray Robb, after not for the first time outside the Indy 500, gets another top 20 finish in 17th in the 41. Rossi, not his day, comes home 18th. Elio Castroneves, that 66 trying to get some. We'll talk about that in the news. We got some news broadcast. We got some news stories coming up. We'll talk about the 66. This was Elio's last race of the year, the 66. They're trying to get back in the top 24 in the leader circle. Not great for him. Christian Rasmussen rounds out the top 20. Scott Dixon, after winning at Detroit, he falls out of the points lead. Finishes 21st. Luca Giotto in the 51. He's back at Laguna Seca next week. Next weekend too. In the 51, he finishes 22nd. Nolan Siegel filling in for Augustine Canapino. Just going to say this right now. Augustine Canapino ended up missing the race because all the stuff that happened with him and Theo Porcher. They pulled him out of the car. But now, I guess since Twitter privated the likes, he got back for the rest of the year. He'll be back in that car at Laguna Seca. Nolan Siegel comes on 23rd. Rocket Reedus VK, not quite of a rocket, comes on 24th. 25th, Jack Harvey in the 18. Dale Coyne needs to find a way to get back in the leader circle of money. Marcus Armstrong has a mechanical failure. Ended up spinning on lap 1 after starting 3rd. He comes home second to last. Kiffin Simpson ran into the wall at lap 5. Comes home dead last. Not a great run for those two Ganassi guys. That rounds out the results for this race. Let's go back to the point standings. Will Power, after winning the race, he's been solid all year. He says his whole goal is to win the multiple races, win the championship. He leapfrogs Scott Dixon and Palou. Will Power now 5 points ahead of Palou. Still first in the point standings. Alex Poe still in the points battle, second place. Scott Dixon 11 points back of Will Power. We'll have to see. I think it's really down between them three. And it keeps alternating every week. Realistically, I think it's whoever wins the last race is probably going to win the championship. Pato Award, 4th place. Scott McLaughlin, still solidly 5th in the point standings. Kirk Wood, 6th place in the point standings as well. His Andretti teammate Colt Herta, them two are like peas in the pod. Finished 5th and 6th this week. 6th and 7th in the point standings. McLaughlin and Kirkwood are tied for 5th. Herta 3 points back. Joseph Newgarden, 8th place, our Indy 500 winner. Needed that good podium finish. Solidly 8th in the point standings. Alexander Rossi, bad race. He falls down the 9th. Felix Rosenqvist, he's still in the top 10, but he's starting to fade a little bit. He's still having a great season with Meyer Shank. They need to figure out that 66 car. He's solidly, 16 points ahead of Christian Lundgaard for the top 10. That rounds out our top 10 and our Road America recap. But let's go ahead. We'll talk about our driver of the day. Honestly, our driver of the day is really starting to align with our highest mover of the race for both series, especially this week. Case Racing driver of the day for Road America goes to Mr. Graham Rahal. He started 24th, finished 6th. Great race for the Rahal 15 team. Shout out to him. RLL needs to figure out their rest of the schedule. We'll see what happens. Solid race for him. Give him a good clap of the hands. Congratulations, Graham Rahal. You are my Casey Racing driver of the day. IndyCar next race up. Laguna Seca. Used to be the season finale. Not anymore. Middle of June. End of June. Sunday, June 23rd, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be on USA Network and streaming on Peacock. Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey. Colt Herta has 2 wins there. Maybe he gets his 3rd. He needs it. Hopefully we see it. Just remember, now we got done with the IndyCar and Indy Next recap. There's some news stories I really want to talk about. See where we are in time. We've only done 9 minutes, so we're going to spend a lot of time on these news stories. First off, David Malukas, after getting thrown to the curb by McLaren because he messed up his arm, he replaces Tom Blomqvist in the MSR 66. He tested at Milwaukee, and he's running at Laguna Seca. So hopefully, all I'm going to say is this. Meyershanks turned into the Arrow McLaren rejects. Felix Rosenquist going there doing awesome. I hope Tom Blomqvist comes back, but I think he may be going back to sports cars. Meyershank may be going back to sports cars. I think the main reason we're seeing it in both Elio and David is 100% leader circle. I'm going to go ahead and explain the leader circle. What the leader circle is, let me catch my breath. What the leader circle essentially is top 24 in point standings. The top 24 in the points get a little over $1 million bonus at the end of the year. Top 24 in under points. 66 dangerous fall out of the leader point standings. Tom Blomqvist wasn't having a great year. Elio tried to save that. He wasn't doing great. And now we got David Malukas coming in. I think he can help build that car back to the leader circle. And if he does a great enough job, he's really great at Gateway. He's got 2 podiums there. May get 3 this year. If he does that, I think he may be a contender to get to 66 next year. We'll have to see. David Lucas will 100% have a full-time ride next year. He's coming back for the rest of the year in the 66. I think he'll do great things. Any next points? It was Siegel and Abel versus Abel to start off the year. Jacob Abel did end up getting the Sim Time Championship. Round 1, he gets half day in the sim. If he wins round 2, he gets it goes up to a full day. He's still leading the point standings. Siegel's starting to fall back. I think he gave it up after driving 78 next year. But the whole point of the Indy Next Series is about trying to find a seat in the IndyCar Series. If you win it, you get a scholarship to go to the IndyCar Series. Siegel might not even need it. I think he may be there full time next year. Now it's Jacob Abel versus Louis Foster. They're in the middle of a points battle. Jacob Abel has a little bit of a lead. I think you can build up that lead, or Louis Foster catch him. It's up in the air. The big news. Let me catch my breath. The big news that dropped this morning. This is from Bob Cockris, notable NASCAR Twitter person. 2025 schedule drop. You see that logo? All races are on Fox. IndyCar signed a deal. All the races will be broadcasted on Fox. Network Fox. Kind of figured. It was rumored that was finishing out that they were going to get the contract signed with Fox. Fox has a little bit of money. NASCAR backed off a little bit, shortened their schedule. And I'm going to say this, Friday Night SmackDown's moving over to USA Network starting in 2025. It's moving off of Fox. So Fox had a little bit of money. They're investing a lot of money in the IndyCar. I wish it stayed on NBC, to be honest, with the NBC. NBC offered the same deal all races on network. I like Peacock as an app. The only downside I think of this is the app that Fox has to streaming. They're making something similar to Peacock with Disney, Warner, ESPN. But the app's going to be $50 a month. Peacock's like $5.99. That's the only downside is you got to pay $50 a month if you want to stream it. That's the only major downside, but I love we got all network races on Fox. The main day I like to see, June 15th is that Worldwide Technology Raceway, so I'm 95% sure NASCAR's moving the date back from Gateway, because usually their race is the big first weekend of June. I think they're probably going to move it back. I think they'll probably move it to August. It shortens the gap a lot. Another thing I don't like is Thermal Club being at the end of March. I wish it was the season starter instead of St. Pete. I wish it started off the season as the exhibition race, but you win some, you lose some. Love that we got all the races on network. Now, the major question is who's going to be in the broadcast booth? I heard Adam Alexander's probably coming over. He's great for play-by-play. If I'm Fox, I'm reaching out to James Hinchcliffe. I'm sorry. I'm going to say that much. If James Hinchcliffe doesn't have a contract for NBC next year, reach out to him. He's great as a color analyst. One of my favorite drivers. Reach out to James Hinchcliffe. I think he's a good guy to reach out to. I have a few guys I would say. Reach out to James Hinchcliffe. I think he's a good guy to be in the booth with Adam Alexander. He's a good like color commentator, former driver. James Hinchcliffe's my number one. If you can't get him, get like I think Connor Daly would be great too. He did some stuff with SRX, but I don't know if he's going to have a full time ride next year. I know we'll probably have an Indy 500 only ride. Reach out to Connor Daly, see if he wants to do all the races. I don't know if he'd be available. James Hinchcliffe, Connor Daly, my 1 and 2. I'd say go after Dario maybe, go after TK, but they have jobs with Chip Ganassi and Aaron McLaren respectively. So I don't think you can get them. Then another guy, maybe like a J.R. Hildebrand would be good too, but he's a toss up as well. I have a few guys in mind for joining the color commentary or the broadcast booth. I know Adam Alexander's good for a play-by-play guy, but you need IndyCar guys to make this work. You don't need your NASCAR guys like your Michael Waltrips, your Kevin Harvicks, your Clint Boygers on IndyCar because they really don't know much of anything. You need IndyCar guys to make this work. So this is my short list. Who should join the booth is James Hinchcliffe. See if he can get him out of his NBC contract, or if he has an NBC contract for next year. If he doesn't, call him up. He's great for IndyCar. James Hinchcliffe's the number one. Connor Daly's number two. I think he'd do all the races except the 500. He did some SRX races. He was solid in the broadcast booth. Booth makes or breaks the broadcast, and then the marketing makes or breaks the broadcast as well. I think Fox, if they're investing this much, you got to invest in a good booth and you got to invest in some marketing. Because if you market the series, and you can have teams come out and say, "Hey, if you want to sponsor a car, all our races are going to be on network TV, so you can bring in more eyes. All the races are on network Fox. All races are on network Fox. Bring in some money, probably help sell sponsorship too." And if they're marketing the series better than what NBC did, because that's the main problem with any cards, you got to market your product, market the product, show them what happens. You can get some viewers. That's the main thing. Market the product. But then again, broadcast booth is going to make or break. You got to market the product as well. My short list of guys that could come in the booth are James Hinchcliffe, get him out of the NBC contract, see if he can get him out, or see if he's out of his contract after this year. James Hinchcliffe, Connor Daly's a solid one. J.R. Hildebrand as well. Connor Daly, J.R. Hildebrand probably be the easiest guys to get. Maybe get an RHR, see if he wants to do it outside the Indy 500 because he's been running Indy 500 only. Reach out to Ryan Hunter-Ray. Maybe go after Elio. Maybe go after Elio, TK, or Dario, but I think they have team commitments. Elio with Meyer Shane, TK with Aaron McLaren, and Dario with Chip Ganassi. I think they'd all be great. I don't know if you get them all. But there's a lot of possibilities. You don't need NASCAR. That's my main gripe. Don't get your corporate NASCAR guys. You need IndyCar guys to make this work. If you can get IndyCar guys, market the product, IndyCar guys, market the product. You're investing a lot more. If you're investing more than they invested in NASCAR, it's going to be a great success. I think you're already investing more because all the races are on network. And another underlying story that happened, because my big question was, where's Indy Next going to go? Bob Pockris told us Indy Next races throughout the season will be on FS1 or FS2. Shout out them. Indy Next, the Xfinity / AAA affiliate to IndyCar, the development series. They're getting network races. All their races were usually exclusively on Peacock. If you're getting network races, that's a great thing. We're getting network races throughout the year for the Indy Next series. That's a good deal. But like I said, market the series and make sure you invest in a great booth. And I gave out my potential names. Let me recap the names. Hinchcliffe, see if his NBC contract's over with. Connor Daly, J.R. Hildebrand, probably be easier. See if they can get them. RHR as well. And then guys that have IndyCar commitments, but maybe down to do it, is Elio, TK, or Dario. Maybe have them rotate in and out of the booth, but I don't know if you can because of their IndyCar commitments. But who knows? We'll see what the booth looks like. We'll probably talk about the booth later on once it's announced on INDYCARPER here. But that's enough about the recap. We talked about that a lot. Just a reminder, We're going to sign off now. Follow me on Twitter /X at HJCarp29. We'll have an announcement coming soon about future. I might be attending some races. We'll have an announcement coming soon. And as a great Indianapolis legend, Pat McAfee says, big role model for my show. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. Might change your life. We're going to go ahead and sign off for now. I'm your main man, Case Racem. Indy Next Laguna Seca preview coming next week. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change your life.